Good afternoon, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Classic Live Album War. Today, we've got two very cool releases. Rock and funk, R&B, all right? Both recorded in 1975, released in 1976. Ironically, both also has the bulk, if not all, of their performances drawn from the famous Cobo Hall in Detroit, Michigan. All right, first one we're going to talk about, on one end of the ring, we've got the Geils Band from Boston, live, Blow Your Face Out. Okay, both of these bands have actually a couple of really memorable live albums. These are the ones we're going to talk about today because released in the same year. Here we've got a bulk of the performances, well, maybe half and half from the Boston Garden, because they're from Boston, and the other half from Cobo Hall in Detroit, Michigan. And then on the other end of the ring, Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, live Bullet, all recorded at Cobo Hall, right? So, of course, that was like the Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band stomping grounds, right? As well as a lot of other bands. You know what else we got? That was like, after like all the rush of the Fillmore recordings in the early 70s, then you started to see all these recordings popping up from Cobo Hall. Detroit, it's Michigan's famous concert venue. Of course, Kiss Alive, this is Love Gun, but Kiss Alive, that album, the bulk of that was recorded also at Cobo Hall. So let's start it off with Live Bullet, okay? Like I said, this is their second live album. Their first one, damn good too, all right? This one, a little bit longer, right? This was a double album. Pretty different band, okay? The Geils Band, they had Peter Wolf, up at the microphone. You had Jay Geils on guitar. You had the Magic Dick on harmonica. You had a really good keyboard player and a rhythm section. Okay, just really good, feel good, grooving, rock and roll, R&B, funk. Okay, just a band that like live, and that's in my opinion, both of these acts, their best album releases ever were their live albums. They had some good studio albums too, but I think both of these acts, just live on stage, is where they really kind of became the potential, or realized the potential that both bands had. Like I said, studio albums are good, live albums kick ass, right? This is no exception. So, got a lot of tunes on here. Starts off with Southside Shuffle, and what's really interesting about listening to like the early Geils Band, this is like the mid-70s, right? But even like the earlier part of that decade, you got this guy out front, Peter Wolf, who's essentially, he talks to the audience in between each song. He's rapping, right? Way before like what we now know as rap, okay? Southside Shuffle, Back to Get You, Shoot Your Shot, okay? The grooves of these songs are just relentless. Must Have Got Lost. Must Have Got Lost. A great song. Okay. Where Did Our Love Go? A great remake of that classic tune. All right. I love their remake of that. Truck Driving Man. Fast and Furious. Love-itis. Again, I dare you to be able to just kind of sit still listening to any of this stuff. What else we got? Looking for a Love. Ain't Nothing But a House Party. One of their more memorable early tunes. This is pre-Love Hurts and all that kind of stuff, right? What else? Where did I leave off? So Sharp. Really sharp. Detroit Breakdown. Okay, again, you got the rhythm section. Working Furiously. The piano, going great. You got cool riffs from Jay Geils. Really tasty, bluesy player. Then you got Chimes and Snow Cone. Snow Cone is an old Albert Collins track, all right? Got some great guitar solos and harp solos from Magic Dick on here. Wait, Raise Your Hand, Start All Over, and then closing it off with with another one of their more memorable early tunes, Give It To Me, okay, which has got, again, an addicting groove, little bits of reggae in there and R&B and stuff like that. Just really good. Again, a live album that makes you feel like you're there enjoying the party with the band. Okay, like you're sitting there in the front row or right up against the stage, and you're just grooving along to everything that's happening, and you're right there in the middle of it. That's what it's all about. And I love, in fact, I often complain when I go to see bands these days about these groups that go and play live, and the singer or anybody in the band, nobody ever talks to the audience. They just go up there and play one song after another, after another, after another, see ya, and there's no interaction at all. In some instances, you get a band who they don't really need to do that because the musical performances are just so absolutely incredible. But back in the day, you had the lead singers and stuff would have conversations with the audience, and they would tell stories in between songs, and that was fun. So that's why this is such a rousing experience, because you feel like you're right there. Peter Wolf just leading you through the whole show. Really, really good stuff. On the same token, Live Bullet. Again, another very energetic performance. Okay? You got Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. A lot of great players on here. Also, like I said, recorded at Cobo Hall. Again, the first of a couple great live albums from Bob Seger. He would release another one in the beginning of the 80s, which had even more of the hits, right? This is the real early stuff. So you got Nutbush City Limits, Traveling Man, Beautiful Loser, which is a great tune, great kind of pop rock tune, right? Get another one of those artists, Bob Seger, who's just a really excellent. I had a question from a viewer on our recent questions and answers show about what some of my favorite kind of blue collar rockers are. And I listed Bruce Springsteen as one of the main ones, but I would dump Seger into that as well. Seger stuff, just really good blue collar rock and roll. Beautiful Loser, great song, good early hit for him and the band. Jody Girl, I've Been Working, which is a great rendition, a killer rendition of a Van Morrison classic. All right, one of my favorite tunes on here, actually. Done really, really well. Some crisp guitar work. It's really funky, just awesome stuff. Then you got Turn the Page, one of Seger's more memorable hit singles, okay? Haunting on here. In fact, I think pretty safe to say this is probably the definitive version of that song. Then you got the upbeat and rockin' UMC. Then a killer version of Bo Diddley, another highlight on the album. Ironically, two of the cover tunes on here, pretty damn good. Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, okay, really good rocker. Heavy Music, the memorable tune from the band. Katmandu, another one of the more popular tracks from the first half of the Silver Bullet Band career. Done very well on here. Great piano, great vocals from Bob. Looking Back, Get Out of Denver, just got an old-time rock and roll feel to it. And then finishing it all off with a blistering Let It Rock, with all sorts of gritty guitar playing from, what is the guitar player's name? I always forget his name. Drew Abbott. Great player. In the band you got Seger on lead vocals, piano and guitar, Drew Abbott on lead guitar, Alto Reed on saxes, Robin Robbins on organ and keyboards, Chris Campbell on bass, and Charlie Allen Martin on drums. So good stuff. Might as well give you the lineup on the Jay Geils too, right? So we got, well, I think I mentioned most of them, but we got Jay Geils on guitar, Peter Wolf on vocals, Seth Justman on keyboards, Magic Dick on harp, otherwise known as harmonica, Danny Klein on bass, and Stephen Joe Blatt on drums and vocals. All right. So what do I think about these two? Really good albums. And kind of in a lot of ways, kind of similar, because both these bands, I think, embraced, the R&B and funk on top of their kind of meat and potatoes U.S. rock, right? And I think both really succeed in being just very energetic and lively, and just, again, making you feel like you were there, or you are there. You put it on, you're like, you're in the house. You're in Cobo Hall with the band in both instances. Great examples of live albums that really work. Okay, and like I said, both of these bands have other really strong live albums, and we may talk about them as well too down the road in this little tournament we're having. But for today, I got to pick one, and I got to tell you, I'm having a really hard time. Leading up to this one, I was like, God, which one am I going to pick? Because they're both really good, and neither one of these are acts that are big favorites of mine. But I appreciate their live albums more than their studio albums for both of these bands. Okay, but the live albums are pretty damn special. So I don't know. For me, I'm going to say it's kind of pick 'em here. I really don't know. I hate to say a draw, because I got to kind of pick one, as we all do. I think when it comes down to it, I think the energy level of this one just exceeds this one ever so slightly. All right, I think this is probably a better recording. Okay, but I think that this one's just a little more raucous, a little more in your face, a little bit more energetic. They're both really energetic. I don't know. You can't go wrong with either or. I'm getting a little glare coming in from the shades here. Sorry about that. You can't go wrong with either or. This is about as even as it gets. So I'm going to give a slight edge, a split decision to Geils Band. Man, but it's close. It's just, you know, if you want to call it a draw, you can call it a draw. But just for the sake of actually picking one, I'm going to pick Geils today. But you know what? You can't go wrong with either. I may tell you tomorrow a different story. So let us know what you think. Again, go in the upper right-hand corner. You'll see that little white circle with an eye in it. Again, if you don't see it yet, it probably means you jumped on this video the second I posted it. You got to give me a couple minutes, guys. So if you were one of the first people to jump on the video, you don't see the poll yet, just give me a couple minutes because I actually have to post these videos first and then go in, edit, and then go in and drop in the card or the poll. So if I get that all the time. I see people who jump onto the video 2 seconds after it's posted like, oh, I can't vote. Well, you got to wait because I can't do it all at the same time. So I try to do it as quickly as possible. So if you don't see the eye, just refresh your page in a couple minutes, go in, vote on the eye, or go to our Facebook page as well. You can vote there. So I'll get that poll up there momentarily as well. So this is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, on Twitter. Of course, we're on YouTube every day. We'll see you tomorrow morning with another, probably couple editions of Classic Live Album War. So till then, see ya. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.